What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Buzz Club. We're back. It's been so long. I missed y'all. Before y'all get to it, thank you for DSU Radio for letting us use this great studio. And enough about me. You guys know me. I'm Zay. You guys see me enough on Off the Clock. I got a new cast with me. Yeah. So yeah, let's get to know you guys. What's your names? Where you guys are from? Your major, and a fun fact about yourself. So we'll start with you.
My name is Muriel, but I go by Ellie. I'm a freshman at DSU, and I am a mass communications major and a kinesiology major.
What's up, guys? So I am Brett Kalmus. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm a freshman here studying mass communications, specifically concentrating in PR and advertising.
My name is Nate Miles. I'm from New York, and I'm a junior. My major is mass communications with the concentration of digital media.
All right, so just give me one fun fact. The audience got to know about you guys. You know, they know enough about me. So just a fun fact about you guys. Go. You know, any order. It don't matter.
Gotta think about that.
Fun fact about me: I like to make music. You know, I love listening to music. I love creating music. You know, music helps me. You know, it helps my mood. You know, it helps me. You know, get through the day and stuff. So, yeah.
Very cool. For me, I would say, so I have met with Larry Fitzgerald from the Arizona Cardinals on multiple occasions. I've even rode his Segway at one of like the events I went to, and he's just a really awesome guy.
What about you?
I guess I can play a multitude of different instruments from like different families. So like I can play the mellophone, the flute, the clarinet, the bass drum, piano, stuff like that.
Very cool.
Nice. So just getting into the show. So one thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was just how's life been, you know, at DSU for you guys. I know for me, I'm a senior, and life has been kind of life is, you know, what a lot of people say. You know, I wear a couple hats on this campus. I mean, I host Off the Clock, chapter president of Gamma Upsilon Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I do a couple voiceovers. I've done a lot. I read commercials on the radio. As my phone just drops. Yeah, I wear a lot of hats around the school. Ever since I was a freshman, you know, I was nervous. I feel like that's with every freshman. I was more so to myself. You know, I was kind of isolated, introverted in a way. But now I'm a senior. I've seen myself grow. You know, the past like 4 years. I'm proud of where I came. I'm proud of how far I've came. Yeah. What about you guys?
Well, I am kind of like you were your freshman year, very introverted. The only clubs that I'm in right now are radio and Hornets in Motion. And I've gone out and done a few events with them, which has been really fun. The people there are really amazing. But I've been struggling trying to get more into campus life because I am working 2 jobs, like up in Middletown, because that's where I'm from. So my commute to try to get down here for like clubs and club meetings and stuff between trying to work 2 schedules and just the 30-minute drive regardless is kind of hard. But overall, I've been really enjoying classes. The people that I've met, the vibe on campus is all amazing. So overall, I'd say it's going pretty well so far.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Ellie. I'm having a little bit in the same boat. I'm working a part-time job on top of school, which is like my full-time job. And it's definitely difficult. I think my hardest thing this semester has just been finding free time for everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I got up at 5 o'clock this morning, and I won't even be home until probably 8 o'clock at least. So it's definitely a crazy schedule, but I'm really enjoying the classes here. I love the professors. And despite some of the issues with maybe administration and all that crazy stuff going on, I think it's really cool here. I like it.
What about you, Nate?
Well, I'm a junior, and from freshman year to now, I can see the growth within myself. And, you know, I was kind of an introvert too. I was mostly in my room to myself, but, you know, like, how can I put this? Like, as the years and the semester went by, I slowly figured out, like, what I wanted to do, you know, what I was passionate about, what I liked, what I didn't like. You know, I got out of my shell, you know.
Yeah.
You know, participating in, you know, DSU TV, DSU radio, and, you know,
And I remember when we first met, you were doing sports management.
I was.
Yeah, you was doing sports management. Now you made the transition over to mass comm. I was like, how's that for you? Because I know you were always involved with radio. You was always involved with TV, and I'm like, this guy's just in the wrong major. That's kind of like what I thought of at first. I'm like, why don't you just come over to mass comm? You know, you were. You were heavily involved in two mass comm wars. It was like, now that you finally made the transition, you know, tell us how's it.
Well, the thing is, like, when I was a kid, I always liked entertainment. I always wanted to participate in. You know, I always wanted to be in the entertainment field. So when I found out about mass communications, I changed. You know, in sport management, I'm not trying to put them on blast, but wasn't it? You know, it just wasn't for me.
Right.
You know, and it,
There's nothing wrong with that.
and just, you know, mass comm was more my field because I love taking pictures. I love shooting videos and stuff like that. And, you know, I love media. I love working at the games. I love, taking pictures of events. Yeah. So.
Yeah, this is up. Glad you finally made the transition over. I know for me, and Ellie, I actually was doing your major before I got to campus. I was trying to be kinesiology, but once I looked at the curriculum, I was just like, I can't do this. You know, too much math, too much science to fry my brain. So, I finally made the transition over to mass comm.
You from kinesiology to mass comm?
Yeah. When I first applied here, I had kinesiology. I didn't like it. I knew it was gonna be hard for me, and I'm like, I can't just sit here and fail, classes and stuff that I can't afford to fail.
I feel you.
And yes, I made the switch over to mass comm, and now that I've interviewed players, I've interviewed coaches. I'm like, this is the place for me. And I talked about I was talking with somebody the other day. I talked about like purpose in life, right? I realized my purpose in life. I think I finally realized that it's to be an entertainer, because
I feel you. Now.
I was like, I do off the clock every week. Me, J. Cole, and Ashton. We just have the time of our lives on that show. Even when I'm performing for Sigma, what I'm doing. This past Saturday we did open house. We had a halftime performance.
You handle the media side of the Sigmas?
More so so one of my other brothers, he actually does that. Like when you see like the flyers and stuff out, on the page.
On the page. That's him?
Yeah, he's the mastermind behind it all.
I feel you.
Yeah, shout out to my guy Dexter Bourne Williams. But yeah. Once I made that transition to mass comm, I realized that, I just love being an entertainer, and that's what I love. Brett, what about you? How you been feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. With mass comm, I've kind of been like, not as much as the entertainer part.
Yeah.
I feel like I can be entertaining, but I don't necessarily want to go that route. I'm more of a public speaker. I've had experience speaking in front of crowds with a few thousand people before. No issue for me. Like, I don't really get nervous or scared, especially if I know what I'm talking about. And just being able to make that connection with people, talk to plenty of people, is really where I find my enjoyment.
So you thought about like doing like TED Talks and stuff in the future?
Potentially, if I can go that route. I mean, I've worked with tons of different nonprofits and speaking at events for them. I spoke in front of my high school and student government and stuff, and having to do a lot of those types of things. I've got a lot of background in just tons of different areas.
I don't mean to cut you off, but what would your TED Talk topics be about?
Yeah, actually, now I want to know.
What was it?
Like, what were your
What
TED
would
Talks?
your topics be
Like
about?
your topics.
For
Like if you were like the
Like-
host of TED Talk.
Yeah.
What's like the one thing to you that like you would want to
I think I would talk about Make-A-Wish and kind of bringing that back with my experience with nonprofits. So I worked really heavily with Make-A-Wish. That was like my big thing. I was a youth leadership council member, and I'm actually a former Wish kid myself. I have helped raise like tens of thousands of dollars over the years,
Nice.
speaking at events for them and doing a lot of stuff. And so being able to maybe do a TED Talk about how great Make-A-Wish is, and I even did a project for AP Research, an essay I did in high school about the connections between Wish kids who receive a wish and how likely they are to give back to the organization the same way I do. And from the little bit of research I was able to do, I was able to find some pretty good results. So if I could do something with them and kind of blow up that research to be even better and deliver that kind of talk, that would be like the most amazing thing I could ever do. That would be my route. I want to be able to talk about that. And like one of the misconceptions with the Make-A-Wish Foundation is that it's for kids who are just about to die. And that just is not true in any way. Make-A-Wish's mission is together we create life-changing wishes for children with critical illness. And more than 70% of kids actually outlive their illness, and that number is on a huge rise lately.
Nice. That's what's up. So from Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, what made come from West Coast to East Coast? I know it's
Yeah.
like a long
I
time.
mean, there's a lot of different factors. I came with my family here, so they moved to Delaware. It's been a process. They've been thinking about moving for a little while, and so shout out to my parents for doing this and purchasing property here without even like having jobs set up and being like, yes, we're gonna move, even though we don't have jobs yet. So they actually teach at early college high school here on the DSU campus, which is
Nice.
fantastic for them. They were able to get jobs and everything. But Arizona is getting really big. I love Arizona. I'll always be born and raised there. But it's becoming more of California. All of the land is being bought up and apartments and mini homes are going in. There's like a heat effect there that happens with all the concrete in the valley of Phoenix that traps the heat inside.
Yeah.
So it stays hot all day, doesn't cool down at night, and the mountains actually like prevent a lot of that cold air from getting in as well. So it got to the point where it's too hot, it's too crazy. There's so much construction and so many people moving every day. I mean, we were like the number 3 or 4 most moved to state of 2023, and we had I think it was like 2,000 people a day coming to just Avondale, just the city I grew up in. That didn't even count the rest of Phoenix and stuff. So it was pretty crazy, but I'm actually pretty glad to be here now. It's a different vibe.
Yeah,
For
weather,
sure.
weather
Everything's, I would say, a lot slower.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting to see, and I'm actually pretty glad I'm here.
Nice. Yeah, Lee, what about you? You kind of been a little quiet and stuff.
I mean, honestly, I chose DSU because I'm a Delaware grad, so it's free for me. So I don't have as much of like a hard-hitting story as like Brett, who moved with his family or whatever. It was just, I can go here for free. So it helps me set up for my future, because then money in my college fund I can use for houses later as opposed to like spending it on education. I haven't decided exactly what I want to do because I do have the 2 majors that are so radically different from each other. I like, even to graduate on time is looking like iffy with the way the classes are. But if I end up following the mass comms route more, I definitely, like along the lines of Brett, don't want to be an entertainer. Like I don't want to be in front of the scenes, but I still want to work in the entertainment industry. I'm a big fan of doing sound design. I did the sound for my school's theater in high school for 2 years. I did like 7 different productions with them over the course of the time. I absolutely loved it. So I'd either want to go into like live sound for theaters, concerts, whatever, or if I get lucky enough, because I know it's a harder industry to break into, making my way to Hollywood for movies and TV shows and stuff would be like the ultimate end goal. But I love New York, so I'd be perfectly fine working sound on like a Broadway show or even in one of the major news studios that you find in Manhattan. Because I really love the East Coast. It's like, I mean, I was born and raised here, so I have that bit of a bias. But I love the weather. I love the people, especially when you move up closer to New York, because it is way faster paced than it is here.
It is.
But there's also just the vibe of like, everyone will help you if you need it, but also nobody wants to know anything about you. And I love that, because I don't want to, like, I don't really feel like I want to get too friendly with strangers like you do in the West Coast. Like I've been to LA and people are a lot nicer there. They're more open than you see in like New York, where you just kind of keep your head down, keep moving. And that's kind of the vibe that I want to have with my life. So.
So Brent, I know Arizona, and you were talking Larry Fitzgerald earlier.
Yep.
So you a big Cardinals fan?
Yeah. I mean, they're like what 5-4, 6-4.
Yeah, 5-4. They just beat the Jets.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I mean, they definitely haven't been great since Larry Fitzgerald left,
Yeah.
But I mean, getting to be that close and just being able to like even meet the players. Like I met Larry Fitzgerald among others. I don't remember their names because I was really little at the time.
Right.
But getting to meet them was like one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
And they're these big dudes, like they're super tall, especially for like this 3-4 foot little guy. I mean, it is super surreal. And it's like the Cardinals, even though they may be bad, may be good, they're always gonna hold a special place in my heart for sure.
Yeah. Kamari is real familiar when we talk about off the clock every Monday. I always bring a Washington Commanders. You know, that's been my team ever since I was in like first grade.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
I know we're good now, but everybody, you know, says, "Oh, I'm a Commanders fan." Like, no, you're not. If you haven't been through all the heartbreaks that I've been through, you know, yeah, I'll really consider you a real fan.
Yeah.
You know, in a way. But yeah, I'm just like you. I met Taylor Heineke. I met Chase Young a few years ago. That was surreal. That was my first ever time going to a Redskins training camp.
Very
That
cool.
was back in 2022. And yeah, that was real. I loved it. I love that team. Yeah, just like you're with the Cardinals, you know, Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call them, Washington.
Yeah.
Always hold a special place.
That's
in my heart.
football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch basketball.
They're a good team. They're great.
My favorite team?
Yeah.
I like the Knicks. 'Cause I'm a
Okay.
New York guy.
New York
you know,
guy.
from
Okay,
New York
okay.
and stuff.
That's not terrible.
The Nets too.
You're at the Giants, Jets, too? Or?
Giants only because it's a New York team.
I mean, Jets, New York,
Jets
Buffalo
is baseball,
Bills.
right?
No, Jets is
No.
Jets is
football.
too.
Jets
Just
is
as football.
No, I don't even know if they're good or not.
They're not.
No, they're not.
They're
Baseball is the Mets and the Yankees.
Mets and
Mets and the
Yankees.
Yankees.
Don't like those guys.
You're an Eagles fan?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're from Delaware.
Yeah, born and raised. I have pictures of me sitting on my dad's lap when I was like 6 months old, watching the Eagles games in my little cheerleading uniform. Like it's a whole
Yeah.
thing. But the heartbreaks,
Yeah,
season after season, it's rough. But I am looking forward to the Washington game on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's gonna be. I haven't actually looked forward to a Washington Philly game since I was really young, because Washington or Philly, either one has been really bad at any given time, but now they're like actually both contenders to win the division. So that's definitely going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to that game tomorrow. And everybody's looking at us as the underdogs coming into this game tomorrow. And I'm just like, remember what happened on that Monday night game in 2022?
Yeah.
When everybody, when no one thought we was going to beat the Eagles, they were 10-0 or 11-0. And we just went in there. And not only have we done that once in Pennsylvania, we did that twice with the Steelers. So, yeah, I'm betting on my team tomorrow. Yeah, got to bet on my team tomorrow. Yeah.
All right.
So another big thing that's happened in the world, I know we just talked about something lighthearted, but now we kind of go not dark, but something that might be
It's more touchy.
touchy in a way. And Trump wins the 2024 election.
Oh,
It's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
it is politics.
So thoughts on that and how it's kind of affect you guys, you know, as college students. I know with some of the things that he's trying to do, especially in, you know, education wise, taking away the U.S. Department of Education, I feel like, which is honestly one of the worst things he can do, because you got to think about it. The children we have now in elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, this is the future of tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is like literally, this is the future of tomorrow we're talking about. And you want to take away something that's critical to human development.
Yeah.
Is like probably one of the worst things you can do. What you guys' thoughts?
Well, thing is, I'm not really into politics, but with Trump is just he, this is gonna be a crazy 4 years
Yeah.
because it's 2 terms, right? 8 years for 8 years into it. It's gonna be a wild 4 years, especially with college, with education in general. But,
Yeah.
I'm glad that I'm graduating in a year and a half, so when the time comes, I don't have to worry about that type of stuff with Trump,
Yeah.
But that's all I really gotta say.
Although if you look at a business standpoint, it's a great time to graduate too, because with economies and stuff potentially going down, might be looking at a cheaper housing market, cheaper groceries, things like that. Might be beneficial for that. I gotta wait 4 years, or 3 years ish. So like that next election will be an interesting time as well after I
Very
graduate.
interesting. Ellie, how do you feel?
I honestly, I have a lot of opinions on it, but that also comes from being part of a lot of the communities that Trump has either spoken out negatively against or Project 2025 has targeted in their plans, being a Black gay woman who's the daughter of a Haitian immigrant. It's like, I'm blessed to live in Delaware because we are a very blue state. So I know that even when things go back to the states, I personally will still be like protected from a lot of the conservative moves that they want to put in place. But overall, I just feel a lack of hope, I guess, overall for the future of the country when half of the country, 72 million people decided to vote for Trump either because they didn't like Kamala or they decided that the economy was more important than the rights of groups across the country, whether they're people of color, they're women, they're immigrants, they're trans, they're gay, whatever. So it's definitely, it's been a hard week, like trying to come to terms. Like that Wednesday after the election was definitely a really rough day, a lot of tears, a lot of just like kind of sitting, trying to process what had happened. But I think there's still a lot of people out there trying to give hope, like, oh, well, there's recounts and like all of these amendments and stuff. But at this point, I think we just kind of have to stick it out.
Kind of just accept it in a way.
Yeah, because honestly, and this isn't an attack on all Trump supporters, but there are the few that are violent, that have already threatened civil wars, and not threatened civil wars, but threatened violence and stuff if Trump lost.
Didn't they break into the Capitol?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
they
remember
did.
that.
I remember coming home from school and
Yeah,
seeing
I
that on
remember
the
seeing
TV.
that on
That
the
was a
news.
wild day.
Yeah.
But even if they like overturn it or say like if they do a recount and Kamala actually won, or they say, oh, Trump like can't do it because he incited an insurrection or whatever other route they could take, I feel like that would just lead to more violence. So I feel like as much as I don't like it, we definitely just have to stick out the next 4 years, create safe spaces for each other where you can, provide support for people in states where they don't have support systems, and hope. And personally, hope that people who supported Trump get exactly what they voted for in every single sense of it, whether or not it's good or bad. So
Interesting.
Nice. Yeah, with Trump, how that affected me in a way. I was just, and I seen it. First thing I kind of did was just shake my head because it was just like, you let a convicted felon run, and not only that, he got impeached.
He got convicted. I
Twice.
didn't know he got convicted.
34 counts, yeah.
I knew he got arrested. I didn't know he got convicted.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, impeached twice, as you said, convicted felon, and I'm just like, how are you letting him run? And then the people that are still voting for this guy.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
had one of the most qualified presidential candidates in the history of our country
Literally.
who's worked in every single branch of the government, whether it's on a state or a federal level, running against a used to be TV personality who's bankrupted like 6 times, who's, like you said, is impeached twice, a felon, all of this stuff, and you decided that he was a better choice because he promised tariffs, which are also going to come back on us anyway. It's definitely just a head shaking, like, how did we even end up here?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, at the end of the day, we still have those checks and balances. So even if you have one person leading as that part of the executive branch, you still have the judicial and legislative to keep things in check. So that way things don't get too crazy. I mean, that's how the founding fathers kind of built everything, especially James Madison, who came up with the checks and balances just to really keep everything from falling apart like it did with England. And at the end of the day, God has, whoever is in charge, God has said this person is there for a reason, and that person, whoever it may be, can do everything for his glory. So no matter what, they're there for a reason, whether we like it or not.
I feel like
This might be off topic, but y'all ever watch The Simpsons?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Y'all
So
seen
it predicts
the
everything.
Trump episode, Trump 2024? I kind of knew that he was going to win. I ain't going to lie. I just knew it. And once The Simpsons predicted it, it always comes true. I was like,
Always.
Trump is going to become
Always.
president. It was already, and that episode was made 20 years ago. I knew it. I was like, yeah. But yeah.
I just feel like the best we could do. So yeah, best we could do is just like, you know, obviously move on, you know, stuff like that. Just accept it. But I mean, like, just like take your mind off it. I know that was, you know, the very next day was, you know, people had to go into work. You had children asking about this, and I feel like when children ask, you kind of gotta tiptoe around it in a way you can't tell something that's gonna scare, you know, that child. Because I know when I was a kid, the worst thing, like, you know, adults telling me something that's happening in the world, the first thing, you know, obviously gonna do is freak out. And that, yeah, after election day was hard. It was a hard day. So yeah, I mean, just watch TV, play some video games, do whatever, you know, just take your mind off of it. And I feel like that's like what I try to do, you know, just knowing that, you know, Orange Man is back in office.
Like you said, with telling children, it brought up a memory from the first time Trump won. I was 9 or 10. And granted, a 9 or 10-year-old does not have the best political awareness, but I had heard enough about Trump to know that he wanted to go after some Haitian immigrants to the country, but I didn't understand that it was more like people here on visas and stuff. So I remember waking up, or my mom has told me, the morning after the election, I went into her room and asked her who won, and she said Trump. And then apparently that was the hardest she's ever seen me cry, like in my entire life, because I thought I was going to lose my dad. So it's definitely like hard to try to tiptoe around children. So I'm really happy that I don't have to deal with young children, but it's kind of a hard thing to swallow for anyone, especially if you have a very limited view of what is actually being said and you don't understand. Like, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, we're all going to lose our rights. And it's not going to be on a federal level, at least yet, but it's a state-by-state thing. And granted, no one should, but I feel like you need to have a better understanding of exactly what's going to be in play so that you can't panic too much. So even if you don't want to, like, bury your head in the sand and move on, at least take the time to educate yourself about how the government works, what things can be overturned by SCOTUS, how the changes are actually going to affect you and your communities, because it can honestly provide a little bit of hope. Like, not a lot, because, you know, there are still people who are going to lose their rights and stuff, but it makes it seem a little bit less dire because, you know, there are still safe places around the country. And quickly, back to your point about the checks and balances, while I do agree, the Republicans also do control the Senate. I don't remember the House. I haven't checked on it recently. And they control the Supreme Court, even though it's supposed to be an impartial body. It is still a 6-3 conservative majority. So I feel like it kind of washes out the power of the checks and balances a little bit. Not to the extent that, oh, Trump's going to have free reign in office. But I feel like it definitely makes some of the policies and some of the changes he wants to get done with Project 2025 easier because he doesn't have, like, a Democratic force fighting against him.
Yeah, I agree. There's like a little bit of aid there if there's anything ever passed, or just the processes for getting things like moved along, compared to like if you had everybody against you. So yeah.
So I know, kind of to get off, you know, off Trump a little bit, I know to get off a hard topic, let's go back to something light. So I know Thanksgiving is coming up. And yeah, I know every year people say turkey, you know, turkey over ham or whatever.
Oh.
What is okay? So what is one thing that you guys like always avoid at a Thanksgiving dinner?
The prayers being too long. The prayer. Some people when they be at Thanksgiving they pray for about a good 5 to 10 minutes.
Really?
You feel me? Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I get it. Amen. Now let's eat. You feel me? Especially if I ain't eat anything all day. Now I'm not trying to sound mean, but
Yeah.
No,
Nah, I get
yeah,
you.
I'm glad my parents didn't do that.
they take a minute.
Wow.
So for me, right? I'm not gonna lie. I can't stand like mac and cheese. I know mac and cheese. Yes, I know.
Interesting. You have that as a Thanksgiving dish. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I avoid mac and cheese.
You avoid mac and cheese?
Yes.
You don't like mac and
No.
cheese?
Is it the texture or the flavor?
I just don't like mac and cheese. It's kind of like I think more so it might just be like the flavor. I don't know. It's just. Like literally, all it is really just noodles and cheese. I couldn't really. As a kid, I didn't like Velveeta. I didn't like Kraft. I didn't like any of that stuff growing up. And another thing is like collard greens. I can't stand them. Yeah.
You like jerk chicken?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm talking about language. Yeah, those are like the two things I always avoid. And every time I tell people, they're like, "What? You don't like that?" I'm like, no, I don't. And the same thing with like turkey. I try to avoid that too because I feel like it's too dry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you really have to be able to like monitor that and cook it pretty well. I agree.
Yeah.
Like turkey can be. I mean, I don't like it more than ham, or I don't like it as much as I don't like ham. Like I don't like ham at all. But turkey is very dry, especially on Thanksgiving.
I mean, no matter how much gravy you put on it, it still tastes. It still
Yeah.
tastes dry.
I feel you gotta cook it right.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, you.
Honestly, my family doesn't really do Thanksgiving because I'm a picky eater. My mom's vegetarian. It doesn't work. But I know usually, like when we have done traditional Thanksgiving meals, I avoid just about everything, honestly. I eat mac and cheese. I'm a big mac and cheese fan. Mashed potatoes, the peas to turkey. But that's kind of it. I don't like stuffing. I don't know why.
Oh, it's so gross.
There's something about it. I
It's
just
all
can't.
right.
And the
It
cranberry
sucks.
sauce, especially when it comes out of the can. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Gross.
But I honestly hadn't heard of ham on Thanksgiving until last year. I was at my girlfriend's grandparents' house, and they had ham and turkey, and I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, I had never heard of that before, but I definitely like turkey more. It is dry. It's so dry. But it's tradition, so I'll take it.
I feel like a lot of people just get it, just for the tradition.
I like seeing my friends and my
That
family
too.
and stuff. That's what I mostly enjoy about Thanksgiving. It's not really the food. Yeah, the food is nice, but I like being around my homies, my cousins, mom, sister.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
About the, holidays. Yeah, stick with your loved ones. Tell them you love them. These are times, unfortunate for some people. Yeah, we're all blessed that we got our families and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, thank you guys for joining us here on Buzz Club. We're back. We'll see you guys next week. Was that good?